Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last class, we studied about data warehousing and data mining. Data warehousing was nothing but storing all data at a particular location, and data mining was taking that data uh, from the data warehouse and using it for various purposes. So that was data mining and data warehousing. And we had one more topic regarding that, the differences between those both. So under data warehousing is a database system which is designed for analytical analysis instead of transactional work. So we are storing the data under a warehouse, and instead of the transactional work in the sense of purchasement and the cost incurred are all transactional work. But in the case of data warehousing, every other data, including transactional data itself, is stored at one point, while in data mining, it is the process of analyzing data patterns. So we are taking and recalling the data from that storage location for a particular purpose and grouping it under various categories. That is data mining. Then data warehousing, data is stored periodically. So there may be a particular time for the data to be stored. Maybe during a month, the work done during that month has to be stored, or the data regarding that work has to be stored in the warehouse. So it is in a periodic manner. During each month or each week or daily basis itself, the data may be stored. That is coming under data warehousing. While under data mining, data is analyzed regularly. So it is being analyzed uh, for each and every purpose, maybe categorizing it or for use in other applications and all. Data is being analyzed regularly under data mining. Then in under data warehousing is the process of extracting and storing data to allow easier reporting. So first you are storing it, then you can extract it. So only when you store it, then only you can extract it. Otherwise, if you are not storing it in a particular location, we have to go to that particular department, then collect the data, then go to your department, analyze the data. So it is a tedious process, right? So instead of that, if you are storing it in one particular particular system or a particular storage location, you can recall that data from that point. Okay, that is the function of data warehousing. While under data mining, it uses pattern recognition logic to identify patterns. So the same type of work, or the relationship between the work, or the relationship between the data itself, can be located by data mining. So it is always determining pattern recognition. Next, under data warehousing is carried solely by engineers. So engineers are responsible for the storage of data. They know what work is being done, and they itself supervise it, and then they provide the feedback, or they store the data at that particular data warehousing. While under data mining, business users also, with the help of engineers, takes the data. Okay, so under data mining, always we are finding out patterns, right? So patterns of this work are often found out by business users or the management level itself. So they are determining the pattern. Okay, and they don't understand the work completely, and for that purpose, they always data mine with the help of engineers also. Okay, so basically it is carried out by business users with the help of engineers. So that is data mining. And the last one, data warehousing is the process of pooling all relevant data together. So in the same sense as mentioned earlier, we are pooling all the data and into one storage location. But under data mining, it is considered as a process of extracting data from large data set. So we are extracting data from data warehouse. So a large data set is present here in data warehouse, while we are taking a portion of that data from the data warehouse, and that is what is known as data mining. So these are the main difference between data warehousing and data mining. Next, we are moving on to one of the important topics of this module, that is online analytical processing. It is short termed as OLAP or OLAP. Okay, online analytical processing. So what is online analytical processing? To understand online analytical processing, we have to first understand what was data warehousing and data mining. So that is why I have explained data mining and data warehousing. So under data warehousing, we are storing the data, and under data mining, we are categorizing the data, or we are obtaining the data, or a small cluster of the data we are obtaining from the data warehouse. Under online analytical processing, we are obtaining data from that categorized data. So it is a part of data mining operation. So how you are data mining? That is what is coming under online analytical processing. The term analytical itself means analysis. So we are doing an analysis. And since it is mentioned online analytical, it is always based on IT field or on online basis, or by means of internet, or by means of any such activities that constitute online mode. So online analytical processing is a data mining process which involves obtaining data by means of query. So what is a query? It is mentioned here, something known as query here. Okay, what is query? Query is nothing but a question. We are asserting a question. So for an example, if you want a data during the month of January and a particular date, if it is 21, if you need the data regarding a product or an operation at the date of 21st, okay, we will be already sorting the data under data mining on basis of daily basis. Okay, maybe on 20th we must be categorizing one form of data, 22nd another data, 21st another data. So similarly, on daily basis data are being categorized. That operation is known as data mining, and we have to obtain that data for analysis purpose. So in industry there is always analysis, right? There is analysis in the form of a product cycle, or the product development, or the product manufacturing, or competing companies production process. So these are all analytical. We are analyzing this to get better productivity or better profit, or to keep the demand alive. These are all the functions of an industry. So under OLAP, you have to require such data. We have to obtain that data to analyze it. Okay, and every data are categorized by data mining, and from that we are recalling the data from that point. Suppose if I have earlier mentioned about the 21st January, if you want the data from there, you are recalling it. Okay, you are typing the search word January 21st. Okay, if you are typing the search word, all the data regarding January 21st will be displayed. Then if you need a particular time or the particular operation, we are giving the heading of that operation, or we are mentioning the time of that operation, then you will get the data regarding that time or that particular name. Okay, so this is what is known as online analytical processing. So we are obtaining data by inserting a query, by inserting a question, and that data is then used for analysis purposes. That is what is known as online analytical processing, or OLAP. Okay, hope you understood that. So it is used for OLAP business intelligence queries often aid in trend analysis. So for trend analysis, we may be using it. For financial reporting, we may be using it. Then sales forecasting, we may be using it. Then budgeting and other planning purposes. So these are all some of the needs for OLAP queries in an industry. Okay, so we are anyone can give such queries up according to the access level of the people. Maybe the workers may not obtain the data regarding management level, right? That are some restricted fields, but still they are entitled to some level of data, and all these data can be obtained through a query. Okay, we have to only type in a question, and that question can be basis of the category in which the data is being sorted. So data are many types, and it is being categorized under data mining, and we are recalling it through online analytical processing. Now all the data that we are categorizing under data mining operation for OLAP purposes is classified or categorized into cubes. So you can see here, there is a picture shown here, that is cubes. So you can see also months are categorized here: January, February, March, April. And this row constitutes January, this row constitutes February, this row March, and this row April. That is what is mean by the data cluster. Okay, a cluster in January, a cluster in February, a cluster in March, and another cluster in April. And look at how the data is being stored. So under the month of January, in stock data are under this column. In stock data are under this column. On order stocks are under this column. Okay, under January, February, March, April, all the on order calls are under this column. Then sales amount is in this column. How much products has been sold, that is coming here. And the sales incurred, or the cost and for all the sales that is being done, is categorized under this column. And last one, the sales quantity, the amount of quantity of the sales that is being done. So under each month and under each this, we are obtaining this data. So for a data on the basis of January and sales quantity, we will be taking this portion. Okay, this portion of the data will be selected. February and sales quantity will be this portion. Okay, so that is how we are recalling the data. We are recalling the data by keeping or typing in keywords such as January and sales quantity. So if you are typing January and sales quantity, you will obtain the data during this time. And if you are again focusing on each of these cubes, or the data present in each of these cubes, then we'll obtain the data regarding those points at that according to the query that we give. Maybe during the month of sales quantity, during the month of January, if you want to obtain during the time of 3 p.m. what was the sales quantity, then you will obtain the data regarding that under this particular set of cubes that is shown here. So data is clusterized or categorized into cubes to form the OLAP cube. So it is known as an OLAP cube, and there may be many dimensions. So it is categorized by many dimensions such as customers, geographic sales, time period, etc. So it need to be in this form or in this format itself. Can be depending upon the industry or how they want to categorize the data. The data is being categorized in such a manner. This is only a physical representation. We can't see the data that is in this cube form. All right, it is being stored at the computer, and under that computer it is being stored in this physical manner. It is just shown like this. It is never in the shape of a cube, but we are representing it as a cube because when recalling the data, the functions uh, regarding that recalling is same as that of a cube. So under that cube itself, we are recalling the data. Hence, it is termed as a cube. It is not really a cube. The data is being stored at one point, and it is categorized by some of the topics here, such as customers, geographic sales, and time period. So the some dimensions are stated here. So these are used. These dimensions are used for categorizing the data. So you can see how the OLAP cube is there, and it is termed as a data structure that allows for fast analysis of data. So a shape that is required or that will be essential for data recalling is always a cube, and hence it is represented by a cube, and an OLAP cube is nothing but a data structure that is used for data analysis. So you can see here that from the data warehouse it is being data mined and formed into a cube that is called a OLAP cube. So it is being categorized. So under one category there will be some such and such data stored, and another one different data. Likewise, all the data are stored in different cubes, and the required data is being used by the user, or the user that is basically a worker, an engineer, analyst, manager, etc. These people will be taking the data from that cluster or from that OLAP cube. So you can, for analysis purpose, so you can see here analytical applications such as business objects, etc. are being used for analytical purposes, and that is the purpose of OLAP cube. Okay, this is how the OLAP process takes place. So there is a data source that is present over multiple departments present in that industry, and it is then being categorized under data warehouse. All the data are pulled in the data warehouse, and from there it is being clusterized into OLAP cube, or it is the data mining operation. Okay, the mining is being done here, and we are categorizing the data. And since it is an OLAP process here, it is called a OLAP cube. And from that OLAP cube, regarding the app queries, so there are three users shown here. They'll be giving queries. Okay, they'll be giving queries depending upon the keywords they type in. So that is what you are doing in Google itself. So Google is a mass collection of data, right? And when you are typing a particular keyword under the search bar, you are obtaining the data regarding that, right? In the same manner, here also the user types in a query or a keyword, and from the regarding data is being obtained from the OLAP cube. OLAP process that takes place during this online analytical processing process. Okay, so these are this is the operation that is shown here. So where various operations are used for recalling the data. So particular operations are basically 5 types. So first one is roll up, then comes drill down, then comes slice, dice, and pivot. So these are some of the operations carried out during OLAP. So we will look at each and every one of them. The first one is roll up. So what is a roll up? First, it takes the current aggregation level of fact values and does a further aggregation on one or more of the dimensions. Okay. Look at the next point. equivalent to doing group by to this dimension by using attribute hierarchy. So what we are doing here is nothing but we are taking a cluster of data. Okay, how that cluster is being done is nothing but you can see some keywords here. Select from, okay, sum up, then from, where, and group by. So this is coming under a roll up. So you can see here under roll up we are categorizing data under one particular category. You can see here, and we are using that data in a roll-up manner. In a roll-up manner is nothing but we are grouping it by base, maybe by month. Okay, in the month of January, such and such data. In the month of February, such and such data. March, or by means of day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, by means of time, afternoon, forenoon. These are all the text will know that group data in this manner itself. You can pin all the data in the Microsoft Excel and you can group it like that, or even in the computer itself. You always looking up or the sorting, right? Sorting inside the computer. You can sort in many. You can sort it as by ascending, descending, by modified time, by the date, the size, or alphabetical order. These are all categorizing, right? The same thing is being used under roll up operation. Okay, that is the roll up operation. Next comes drill down. Drill down. Here we are taking data under one column, or you can see here all the data are then stored here, one type of data. Okay, and under drill down you are obtaining data by looking at multiple things. Okay, maybe it is kept in an ascending manner. So under ascending manner you are looking okay, if it is alphabetic manner, we are looking at the letter A, regarding data regarding A, then comes B, then comes C. So if you want to obtain a data regarding R, then you have to first look from A to R. Okay, you can't go directly to R. You have to scroll down from A to R. That is what is coming under drill down method. So if you are learning the notes in a PDF, you can use find tool to obtain that particular data. But instead of that, if you are rolling up, okay, if you are scrolling down to that particular data, you are going from page 1 to go 20, 30. So you are scrolling down, right? The same thing is being used in drill down method. You are scrolling down, or you are looking from top to bottom, or from bottom to top. This is the method always used, or the operation principle used under drill down method. It is most sophisticated and more time consuming process or operation under OLAP, because if the data is present at the bottom or even at the middle itself, you have to scroll from the top to down or from bottom to top. Okay, it takes some time. Regarding other operations, drill down is the most time consuming. Okay, next one is slice. Under slice, you can see here the data cluster is being here. Under slice, you can see here, this is the slice. You are slicing the data. So this is the 3D diagram, and you are slicing the data for this part only. That is 605, 825, 14, and 400 are the only thing you are taking here. The rest others are eliminated, or that you don't require. So you can see here also, if you are slicing, we are we are obtaining data of these two portions and the below one is neglected. So such a thing is called slice. We are slicing the cake, etc. You know, right? We are cutting it out. So that is what is also being done here. So if you are removing this data from here, you will obtain a small cluster, right? So from that small cluster, it will be easier to obtain more data. So that is coming under slicing. Regarding other data, we are deleting it or we are eliminating it. Okay, we don't require that. It's present in the data warehouse. We are not deleting from the data warehouse. Rather, we are only obtaining the data that which we need only, and hence it is called slicing. From that pool of data, we are only taking this much data. This is called as slicing. Next comes dice. What is dice? Dice is nothing but we are already created an OLAP cube, right? And from that OLAP cube, we are even making smaller cubes. Okay, we are reducing the total data cluster so that we can easily analyze the data. What is coming? Dice. We are making it more smaller. So you can see that if you are taking the data here, we are making it into a dice. So you all know what is a dice, right? We are using dice for various games and all, and dice is made up of 6 faces, etc. We all know that. Such a thing is also being done here. The all is being broken down into smaller cubes. So you can see here 605, 825, and this cube only a 4 cube being obtained here. Okay, 4 cubes from are being obtained here. Slice was cutting off this section completely. Okay, so that is called as dice. So these are all operations for obtaining data at an easier manner. These are all some of the operations. And under dice, we are categorizing the data into an even smaller data or a smaller data cluster. That is what is known as dicing. Okay, next comes last one, pivot. Pivot is nothing but pivot is nothing but the data is present in this manner. You can see this is the complete data. But if you want to look at this data first or this phase first, we can align it in such a manner that this phase comes first or this data come first. Okay, so that is what is coming under what I have earlier mentioned. If you have some folders present inside a computer system and you have to categorize it or sort it by means of ascending value or by means of descending value or by means of label or by means of alphabetic order. These are depending upon our view, right? We are looking at it and we have to or we want to categorize or we have to find the data in an easier manner, and for that purpose we are categorizing it into our point of view. Such a thing is called as pivot. So we are categorizing the data on the respective point of view. So if you want to create this data first, then second this one here, then we are turning this data or we are realigning the data for our operation or for our purpose of viewing. Okay, for easier viewing purpose, then it is called pivoting. So we are not reducing the data, but we are changing the point of view of the data. Such an operation is called as pivot. So these are the 5 operations that are coming under OLAP. Okay, so you can see here under pivot also there will be you can look at here x-axis is y-axis item, z-axis its location. So if you pivoting it, you can turn it like this: location in the x-axis, item in the y-axis, time in the z-axis, or even it's location in the x-axis, time in the y-axis, and item in the z-axis. So these are all different point of view. Okay, we are rotating the data axis. You can look here, rotating the data axis to view the data from different perspectives. Perspective is the point of view. So these are some of the operations that is carried out under OLAP. Then some of the uses of OLAP are used for data mining. So it is also an operation that is part of data mining. But data mining is only concentrated on categorizing the data or finding the pattern, while OLAP is considered as the processing or analytical part of that data mining. Okay, that is what is OLAP under data mining. Then OLAP database does not need to be large as data warehouse. That is another function of OLAP database. We are not creating a database much greater than data warehouse, but we are categorizing it into various folders or various cubes. Okay, OLAP cubes. So such data are only required. Okay, next, using open data base connectivity, data can be imported from existing relational database. So this is nothing but using open database connectivity. That is, we are connecting all the systems or all the devices required for obtaining the data under one system or a one under one system itself. Okay, that is what is known as open database connectivity. So we can obtain data from that common source or from that common point, and everyone can obtain that data. That is also another use of OLAP. Then it features tools such as, look, one of the main tools that is used for OLAP is Microsoft Excel. Then comes SQL, that is used for analysis purposes. Okay, these are all some of the OLAP features that are being used. Then OLAP products are typically designed for multiple user environments with a cost of software based on the number of users. So it is being used for multiple users. All the data are not limited to one person or the management or the supervisor. Every data everyone must get, but depending upon the level of access of that particular employee or that particular employer. Okay, depending of that, the data is being stored and it is a multiple user. All people must obtain it. So hence it is used for multiple user environments. Okay, that is another use of OLAP. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of using OLAP? First one is consistency of information and calculation. So we are periodically storing the data and periodically clusterizing it. Hence, there is always information obtaining data, and you can recall that data at that particular time if you are clusterizing it into OLAP cubes. Then there is another advantage, that is what if scenarios. So what if scenarios comes when you have to compare. So if you want to compare the productivity during the month of January and February, you must be able to obtain data from January and also February, right? So if you want to improve the productivity, you have to compare between January and February and look at where the productivity increased or how the productivity increased. So these are all what if scenarios. Okay, so what if you had productivity higher, or what if you changed this. So for all this purpose we have to obtain the data, and if you want to obtain it, if you are categorizing it only, then you can obtain it. And OLAP is the best solution for creating that what if scenarios. That is one of the advantages of it. Then next one is it allows a manager to pull down data from OLAP database in broad or specific terms. If you want that data cluster completely itself, you can pull the data. The manager can take the data, or if you are typing in keywords such as the month of January, if you want that data, you can obtain that data only. Then February, you can obtain that data only. So that is all specific terms. So we are typing in keywords to take that. Or if you want complete data in the broad spectrum, you can take the data. Next one is OLAP creates a single platform for all the information and business needs. So it is stored under one point, and we can take the data from that point to multiple systems or the multiple point of view. So it creates a single platform, but we can obtain all the data for the business needs, budgeting, forecasting, reporting, and analysis. And for all that purpose, we can update data even if it is stored at a single point. So that is the advantage of OLAP. Then what are some of the disadvantages? Basically, three disadvantages. First one is pre-modeling. So pre-modeling is nothing but forecasting, right? So we learned about the demerits of using forecasting under lean manufacturing. We already termed and we saw so many waste occurring due to that overproduction and all, right? So that is the main disadvantage of this. So since we are using pre-modeling or forecasting system, there will be always some issues faced because of the real-time problems. Okay, that occurs. That is one of the disadvantages of using OLAP. Next, it requires great dependence on IT. So since computers are the most effective means for OLAP operations to be conducted, IT field is always needed for OLAP operation, and money to be spent for such an operation or an IT field to be established in a company is significantly high, right? So small companies does not prefer it, but uh, higher companies do prefer it because of the advantages earlier mentioned. So that is why always IT is dependent. So it is a disadvantages because it can't be implemented by small scale industries. Then last one is slow in reacting. So slow in reacting means there is a huge amount of data, right? So we are creating a forecast, and after the forecast is being modeled, once coming into the real life, there will be changes occurring, or there will be some differences between the forecast and the real life conditions. So once that conditions are observed and obtained, if you are trying to implement it into our model, there will be some difficulties. Okay, that is what is coming into slow in reacting. So we can't change the model according to that real life condition if such a thing occurs. Okay, that is why it is known as slow in reacting. So it is a we are compiling the data and creating the model within not within a short span of time. It is being created over a large span of time itself. So for that purpose, it is always slow in reacting. Okay, I will conclude the class today.